In this week's Parsha, Parshat Chukat, we read of the devastating news that Moses will suffer. The loss of his sister Miriam, the passing of his brother Aaron, and the tragic news that he himself will not be allowed to enter into the land of Israel. But preceding these stories, the Torah pauses and introduces us the laws of the red heifer, the Parah Adumah. In order for one to enter the confines of the Holy Temple, if a Jew had been in contact with a dead body, they had to undergo a ritual in which ashes from a red heifer were mixed into water and then poured onto that person. The symbolism and the meaning behind this ritual is far beyond the scope of a weekly sermon. But the idea is very deep. If someone came into contact with the dead, in order to re-enter the world of the living, they would have to undergo a process of purification. This involved waiting 7 days and being sprinkled with the waters of life. The message is very powerful, that when we come into contact with death, one cannot continue life as normal. One needs to have a process of mourning, which in Judaism is known as Shiva. One needs to be comforted by those who love you, who symbolically pour the waters of life on your head, allowing you to rise to continue your journey. And the loss of a loved one is something that's almost unpalatable. We don't even realize the depth of damage to oneself when a loved one passes. If one thinks that one can just get on with life, one is sorely mistaken. And this is the juxtaposition between the law of the red heifer, the passing of Miriam, and Moses and the rock. After Miriam dies, Moses is confronted by the Jewish people who say, "Give us water." God tells Moses, "Speak to the rock." But instead of speaking, he loses his cool and smacks the rock twice. At that moment, God says, "You are no longer fit for the leadership of the Jewish people. You cannot lead them into the land of Israel. You will die in the desert." What went wrong? The simplest answer is the death of Miriam. Miriam, who had been there from the start, who had looked over little baby Moses as he floated down the Nile, had been a constant source of support to Moses for all that time in the desert. A confidant, an advisor, a support. But with her passing, Moses was left vulnerable. And this is what happens when we lose loved ones in our lives. The pain of their loss leaves us but not only bereft, but leaving us rudderless. And we need time to process their passing. And so the Torah tells us about the law of the red heifer. It is called a chok, an unintelligible rule. We will never really understand what is behind it. And so too it is with death. It too, although part of life, is a mystery. But the impact of the passing of a loved one means that we need to be careful. Our rabbis tell us that when someone dies in one's house, one needs to be very wary. And we see it from the story of Moses. He loses his patience with the people. He's dealing with his grief of the loss of his sister. And this undermines his ability to act as a leader. There are so many messages from this parasha in terms of dealing with grief, the need to mourn the loved one, and the need to be aware that when death strikes, be aware not to make decisions, not to act emotionally, not to act rashly, because in a split second, all the good work can be lost. A powerful message from Parshat Chukat. Shabbat Shalom. Hi, this is Rabbi Lewin. If you've enjoyed the content of the sermons and the ideas that have been expressed in the YouTube video, please hit that first subscription button and notification bell, and share the videos with friends. We'd love to grow the channel and love to engage with you. Please share your comments in the section below. I'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing day.